3 weeks ago, I told you that Claude Code had a rush bias. It's designed to finish fast while finish well. Well, Claude Code source code just leaked, and the system prompt a lot of the details and harness. My point, let me show you. Basically, just to recap, and I'll link the older video on the screen somewhere. Rush bias or action bias is basically just Claude, specifically Claude Code, tendency to skip through analysis, planning, or verification, and jump at execution and generating output. Just sloppy work on complex tasks. If you're rushing through something, you will always produce work. Then taking your time, which is what Codex is really good at, but Codex much worse at interpreting fuzzy plans and fuzzy logic, but that isn't really the issue here, right? And so what people have been complaining about is essentially just glancing at images, taking cues like proceed and do it correctly or whatever as something to be like, let's get this done as fast as possible, coming up with excuses and just prioritizing progress over quality, which I think became more prevalent with 4.6 and later. But essentially now we know, because we have the exact system prompt and we see things like here, so people complaining, going from Codex to Claude, it just makes the dumbest mistakes and rushes through, and the class of task done even though it's not, or 9 out of 10 PRs just miss or skip something important, just lazy, and obviously gaslighting, which is like what LLMs love to do. But essentially it just always uses band-aid over a real solution. In the system prompt, it's very clear to see, right? So for example, one part of the system prompt says something like, go straight to the point, try the simplest approach first, be concise, your text and output brief and direct, lead with the answer or action. For things like model annotations that cover specific model biases, just overall things in system prompt and the structure that explain why it's working against you, even if you tell it to take the extra time, even if you tell it to be very diligent, especially for a complex task where it then loses focus or loses attention, you basically can't win, because gets much more, like the system prompt gets much more attention budget, right? And so ultimately this leak is kind of confirmed we already were thinking, and also led to more people picking up Codex, and they're not really responding to it as far as I know. I might be wrong here, but I haven't really seen anyone talk about it. And what you can do about it is just use plan mode more, which is already what you should be doing anyway, using extended thinking, writing instructions in your Claude.md to just always have it there, even though that's also not guaranteed to work, right? As we know, it's basically something you have to keep repeating over and over and over because of context rot, tension. What I do now is I will often just combine Claude for planning, then go to Codex, have Claude essentially put of the plan, where do you think are weak spots, and then Codex goes in, Codex reviews the plan, Codex generates things that are lacking and gives some priorities, and then I apply that back to Claude. And then I have Claude, because it has all the context, the changes that Codex wants to make, as long as they make sense. So I review them and then I work them in. And then I go back and forth a couple times. And once I have a really good plan in Claude, I just take that plan, I just give it to Codex, and then Codex will do the work for me. And I know that Codex will just keep going, and it doesn't have this rush bias. And then once Codex is done, I then have Claude check work of Codex according to the plan, and then I do smaller changes with Claude where it's not that important to execute something diligently. And then you get kind of like the autism of Codex, and you get the kind of vibe coding of Claude Code, where you can be somewhat vague and it will still do a good job, and Codex will just not do that for you, right? So Codex will be very literal, and if you don't exactly tell it what you want, you'll get the opposite of that, essentially. So yeah, that's how I do it now. And in conclusion, we can say rush bias is real. It's in the system prompt. It's there. You have to work on the harness, not the model necessarily, and even like acknowledge that it's a thing, right? So I think that would be the first step. We'll see how that goes. Until then, hope for the best. All right, cheers. See you in the next video.